Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Ohio.
Well, it's a cloudy afternoon at Wrigley Field in Chicago, but the good news is it's not raining right now. They've taken the tarp off the field. And after worrying early on that we might be getting started a little bit late, that is not the case. We are ready for baseball. The Cubs and the Reds came 2 of 4. Hi again, everybody. Alongside Chris Welsh and Jim Day, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds Baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. The big story last night, the story of Matt Harvey, that he had been claimed on waivers. Find out later that team's supposed to be the Milwaukee Brewers. They had, well, technically they have until about another 10 minutes from now to make a trade, but it looks like he's going to be right here.
Well, that's probably good news for this ball club. I mean, they wanted to keep Matt Harvey around at the very end of the trade deadline, probably raising the price of his trade value because they wanted to keep the momentum going that the Reds were able to build in the month of June when they went 15-11, in July when they went 13-11. The problem is, though, here in August, they have gone 8-13, and it's a ball club that's going the other way. That's why they decided not to trade Matt Harvey. They feel like they didn't get enough in return, an offer from whatever team was out there that claimed him on waivers. So he will be here now, at least unless they put him on irrevocable waivers, right, where another team could come in and just grab him. But I'm glad to see him stay. He's a guy that can pitch a little bit. I don't know in the long run whether the Reds are going to be able to sign him or not, but having him around this ball club so far has been a good experience.
Let's talk about the Cubs, and you touched upon it last night. Perhaps the leading candidate for the National League's most valuable player right now, closing in on the start of September, would be Javier Baez.
Well, he's one of those, certainly. I mean, I think that Nolan Arenado is also a guy that you have to displace from that standpoint. But if you start throwing Javier Baez up where Anthony DeSclafani did last night, you're going to see him lose a lot of baseballs. This guy's got tremendous power, great bat speed. He's a guy that can be very dangerous. And the other thing that he adds to the Cubs is his versatility and his energy. He can play anywhere around the infield. He runs. He brings a lot of energy to the ball club. And I think for that one reason, he's got that intangible that the Cubs really appreciate.
And now heating up when they need him the most is Anthony Rizzo.
Well, he's a powerful guy. Hit a pretty good pitch for a home run last night, down and out over the plate. You know, when Rizzo heats up, he's one of the better hitters in the league. He's got a complicated swing, but when he's hot, he sees the ball big, he can hit it very hard.
All right, when we come back, a couple of Reds really like playing right here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. We'll tell you who they are. You're watching Reds Baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Field in Chicago, just north of downtown, and welcome back to the ballpark. Game coming up in about 10 minutes from now. Alec Mills will start the game for Chicago. They have a couple of pitchers that are either on the DL, and Mike Montgomery going on the DL, and Tyler Chatwood. So now Mills makes his first major league start.
Don't forget Yu Darvish too. I mean,
right.
this is a ball club really from a starting standpoint that has really been decimated. But the fact that they have got such a good everyday position lineup, that keeps them right in it. Alec Mills is going to be a guy that originally drafted by the Kansas City Royals. He comes up here. He's going to make kind of an emergency start. He did pitch earlier in the year, a couple of innings for the Cubs, but he's a guy that is going to throw, fastball, slider, his changeup. From what I understand, the scouts are telling me very good pitch. But we call this type of guy a garden variety right-hander, and somebody who obviously will be a lot easier to manage today than Cole Hamels was last night.
You've been singing the praises for quite a while on Phillip Ervin. Couple of more hits last night.
Tell you what, Phillip Ervin is showing me something because he gives you some pretty good at-bats. I thought he was kind of a one-dimensional type hitter where he liked the ball up and in, and if you didn't put it in that spot, he wasn't going to hit it. But, I mean, he's beginning to adapt a little bit. Here's an example of a former #1 draft pick. He has all the physical tools, finally beginning to put it together on the baseball diamond.
And for today's IGS bringing the energy, how about it? Phillip Ervin here at Wrigley Field. Remember, he had a couple of home runs last year and then didn't start for a week.
No, you're right. I mean, but a .421 average here at the friendly confines, you got to be happy about that. He's going to be in the lineup. I think Jim Riggleman, has got a quest to win as many games as you possibly can. I mean, the Reds are in that mode right now. That's one reason why they kept Matt Harvey. If you want to win some games, you put a guy in there that swings the bat well where he is, and that would be right here at Wrigley with Phillip Ervin.
And the same could be said for Billy Hamilton in the way he's played in this ballpark so far this season.
I'm not going to measure Billy Hamilton by exit speed or anything like that of the hitting, but he gets on base. He makes things happen. In fact, Joe Madden was discussing him a little bit in his office this morning. What a great asset he is. A game-changing type player in a tight, low-run scoring game. Billy Hamilton, if you can get him on, he's going to make a difference here today.
All right, when we come back, as many of you perhaps know, this is Players Weekend. You'll learn a little bit about some of these players, their personality, who they're thinking about as they take the field each and every day. The guys in the studio will have that and more. You're watching Reds Baseball.
Foxborough Hire is brought to you by Chevy. Check out our winner lineup only on your 3-state Chevy dealer. And buy a Skylight Chili. Feeling good. It's kindly time.
I got to tell you what, man, the guy's a great sport, isn't he?
He came on the bus, and maybe it was he knew he was going to read the credits today, but he got on the bus this morning. He was in the greatest mood.
Really was.
Tapping everybody,
Yep.
Hey, how you doing? And he is a great guy, great personality. And Tom, when you have the guy on your ball club who you can make an argument for, I mean, Joey Votto's the best hitter, but the best all-around player might be Eugenio Suarez.
Well, I don't think this
and
year's
because
any
of that, I mean, you want him to have that kind of personality, sometime perhaps growing into be captain of this ball club.
Let's take a look at Jim Riggleman's starting lineup, and you notice the nicknames that each of the players will wear. We'll walk through those. I know, Chris, you've been checking those out, and you're mighty excited about it. And we'll give you exactly the reference to Bone, Hamilton, and Peraza and Jeanette. Suarez bats cleanup. Williams, and then Urban, the latter third of Barnhart, Dixon, and Harvey. And on the mound, he last pitched on August the 16th in the minor leagues at Oklahoma City, pitching for the Iowa Cubs, where this year he had a 5-12 record. He's pitched in one game with the big league club, is Alec Mills.
Well, Alec Mills is the guy that actually is from Reds country, if you want to include Clarksville, Tennessee. He's a guy that walked on his high school team and then walked on his college team down there at UT Martin. And he's a guy that'll throw about 93 miles an hour, has a little bit of a slider. Good changeup, that's his main pitch. And we'll see if he's able to control the Reds. The Reds had a tough time last night with Cole Hamels. Maybe not quite the challenge here this afternoon.
First pitch in there, strike one. We're underway at Wrigley Field in Chicago. A lot of folks arriving late today. Another sellout crowd ticket-wise. And the sky's beginning to clear out. It's supposed to be a beautiful weekend here. They were concerned about rain today, but it looks like if Mother Nature's in a pretty good mood, we might be okay. We'll see. 1-1 to Bone Hamilton. Players not only wear their nickname, but they also wear a patch. And the patches are to be worn as part of this players weekend, or socks or shoes, whatever it is they want to do. And we'll be giving you some of the nicknames and the patches and what's on them and what they symbolize. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Billy Hamilton. And he is out of there swinging to begin the game. All right, what does Alec Mills feature here today, Chris?
Well, Tom, like I just said, I think he's a guy that throws a fastball about 93. He's got a slider, a little changeup. I mean, he doesn't have great control. He doesn't have great overpowering stuff. But he's what they would call an organizational pitcher. You fill up your organization with guys that if you need them on an emergency basis, they're there. They're not going to embarrass the ball club. He may not go out and strike out 15 batters, but, Joe Maddon's just hoping that he keeps his team in the ball game.
He made his major league debut with the Royals in 2016, appearing in 3 games out of the bullpen. He missed a majority of 2017, his first year in the Cubs organization, on the disabled list with an injured ankle, and then he had a right forearm strain, so he really didn't pitch a lot last year. In fact, in all of 2017, he pitched in a total of 7 games. But healthy again this year. 1 appearance out of the bullpen for the major league club. That's going back to the 27th of July against the Cardinals, and here's Jose Peraza. Now, Peraza has an interesting nickname. El Llanero, Venezuelan cowboy. He grew up on a cow farm in Venezuela. Did Jose Peraza. In fact, he had to get up every day at 5 o'clock and milk the cows. And even now, when he goes back to Venezuela, he still gets up every morning and milks the cows. Worked with his mom planting crops and raising cows for milk and to make Venezuelan cheese. Back-to-back strikeouts for Mills here in the first inning. Chicago on defense, presented by Ford. Almora Jr. gets a nod in center field. Saw Zobrist and Schwarber last night. They move Happ into third. Baez, Murphy, his third straight game with the Cubbies, and Rizzo and Contreras, their regular catcher, back behind the plate. Two down for Scooter Gennett. And of course his nickname is DAL3. We've reported many times, a major fan of Dale Earnhardt Sr., who was of course card number 3. It also represents Scooter's number and the letter E in Dale. So his whole uniform is in tribute, including checkered flags on his bats. There you see on his shoes. You a big NASCAR guy, are you?
No, I'm not actually. I like watching it occasionally, you know, the big races.
You do?
Yeah. I've never been to a NASCAR event, and maybe that's where I really miss it, because people who go to an event and they spend 2 or 3 days down there, you know, camping out, tailgating, whatever it is, their RVs, you know, they say that it is some of the most fun time that you can have around a sporting event.
I've heard the same thing. That's pretty cool stuff right there, though.
Yeah. That looks like it'd be a good auction item, you know, at your dad's golf tournament right there.
That'd be good. Scooter may not want to give that up. He's a generous guy, though.
I'm really happy, though, that you have completely embraced. I mean, I know you've been anticipating this Players Weekend for a long time, Tom, and I'm glad you're one of these guys on the bus. You were equally as excited as Suarez.
I love it.
Up about this.
I love it. I think it's cool. I think you get to learn a little bit about somebody. I mean, like most fans would never know about Peraza getting up every morning and milking cows on the family farm. I think it's awesome. We're going to talk about this all day long. Now, the nickname for Suarez is Nicole. That's his brand new baby girl. Straight up in the air. And Almora can't find it. And now he does, and he's got it to in the inning. 1 hit, 1 left. Matt Harvey. We thought he might be traded today. He's taking the mound for the Reds. Everybody getting on the bus, and generally the starting pitcher will ride on the same bus the day of the game that we take over, and a few others do. Relievers every now and again will be on that bus. When we saw Harvey today, I know you did, I did, I think my dad did, Cowboy did, everybody shook his hand and said, hey, look, we don't know what's going to happen today. And if you're not around, good luck, but here he is.
Well, you know, I was even asked by a couple of players, who are the Reds pitching today? I said, well, what do you mean, Matt Harvey? They said, well, what if he gets traded? And I said, well, I don't know any more than you do. And you had to feel that it would be a very emotionally topsy-turvy morning. for Matt Harvey, although he was told by the organization, you know, go ahead and prepare like you're going to pitch. If something happens, it happens. But in the meantime, we want you to be ready to get out there and pitch well against the Cubs. And he's been throwing the ball a little bit better, it seems, every time out. His fastball, you know, velocity-wise, if you're ranking it that way, is getting back up to what it once was. Not 100 miles an hour, but still mid-90s. He's got good action on it, as you see right there. Starts it in, and then it comes back over the plate. And his slider and his changeup. Working a few more changeups in, I think that's a very big key for him. Especially when you're facing a lineup with as many left-handers as the Cubs can run out against you.
Some of you may be wondering about the uniforms the teams are wearing. Major League Baseball on this Players Weekend, you know, they wanted it to be all about sort of baseball and growing up. And so all the uniforms around baseball are looking like maybe something you'd see in a Little League uniform. That's the idea here today. The Reds did not pick these uniforms. The Cubs did not pick them. Our understanding is Major League Baseball came up with this idea. Looks pretty cool for a change of pace. You were commenting on that before the game.
I like the script, and I like the colored sleeves. You know, that is a youth look, definitely a Little League look.
Murphy a fly ball into short left field, and there is Phillip Ervin to retire Daniel Murphy. Let's take a look at the Cubbies starting lineup under manager Joe Madden. Murphy is gone. Here comes Baez and Rizzo. Zobrist in the cleanup spot. Schwarber in left, Happ at third. And the latter third of Contreras, Mills, and Almora Jr. in center. Quite a night last night for Javier Baez. Had a solo home run, was on base 4 times, had 3 hits, scored 3 times, and made a dazzling play at shortstop. Larry Vanover is the home plate umpire. He is the crew chief. Ben May is at first, David Rackley at second, and Chris Guccione, the umpire at third. This place will be jam-packed in about 30 minutes from now. Very cool day in Chicago. Temperature right around 70. The home run that Baez hit last night was the second longest home run hit in baseball this year. 481 feet. Wow. 1-2 pitch.
You know, that 481-foot home run by Baez, it shows you the almost the perfect combination between exit speed off the bat, you know, like 110 miles an hour, and the launch angle. And that's where you maximize your distance. And it looks like the Reds are not going to try to throw him that hanging slider up around his letters here in this afternoon game. Trying to pound the bottom of the zone right there is Harvey with a little slider.
Swing and a miss. Got him to chase that breaking ball away. That's what you were talking about last night.
Well, I mean, he seems to be getting better all the time, Javier Baez does, but he still steps in the bucket, and he's still trying to jack every ball out of the ballpark. And if you can get him reaching like that, why would you pitch him anywhere else in the zone? I mean, this guy is the classic up and in off the plate, slowed down and away.
So 2 away in the inning, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Anthony Rizzo. Clubbed his 21st home run of the year. He's homered, in fact, in 3 straight games. 270 overall, 83 runs batted in, and on base percentage right around 370. Harvey is making his 22nd start overall, his 18th in a Cincinnati uniform. Of course, he pitched in 4 games out of the bullpen for the Mets after he was banished from their rotation. All 6 of his wins have come in a Cincinnati uniform, and in every category, the numbers are better as a Red than they were to start the year with the Mets. But it wasn't very many games.
You know, it's amazing to watch the action on Matt Harvey's fastball and realize that every one of his pitches, he's throwing a 4-seamer. I mean, if he threw a 2-seamer, that ball would be running all over the place. You really wonder, you know, what lies in store ahead for Matt Harvey. You know, from now to the end of the year, more than likely now he'll be with the Cincinnati Reds, unless the Reds put him on irrevocable waivers and somebody just comes in and swoops him up. But, you know, what will happen next year? What kind of offers will he get? How well will he pitch between here and the end of the season? A lot of things to be determined between now and the beginning of October.
You know, you had a lot of interesting things to say about that before we went on the air. I'd like you to share some of that with the hardcore Reds fans when we come back. The injuries the Cubs are suffering through right now. Yeah, their great star, Chris Bryant, Addison Russell, Yu Darvish looks like he's done now for the year. Tyler Chatwood with a bad hip. Montgomery they're expecting back very soon. He would be the closest to returning. And then there's Brandon Morrow. That's some big time talent right there.
There's a lot of money on the payroll that is right now unable to perform. But when you replace those guys with very, you know, more than adequate replacement players, you can hold your place in line, which is right now 3 games up in the National League Central.
That ball in the air to left center field, yeah! And it flies out of here. Mason Williams goes
in play.
I think it's a home run.
Oh, is that a home run?
I'm pretty sure it is.
I thought it hit off the very top of the basket. Now, you see the left fielder out there, Kyle Schwarber, waving his arms back and forth. Maybe he's calling for a, is he calling for a trainer or a review?
That I don't know. The center fielder, Almora, is okay. I'm pretty sure that ball got out of here.
Well, they're obviously going to take a look at this anyway because it was close enough. It'll be an umpire's review, and we'll take a look ourselves.
Oh, yeah. That hit that green wall back where the fans are.
If it hit the green wall, then it's a 4-bagger. Hey, you know, the ball kept traveling and traveling. Tom, you're talking about how cool it is here at Wrigley Field today, but the wind is still blowing a little bit out of the south, even though it's a cool day, and that really helped that ball kind of get up in that jet stream and get out of here.
You know, we're sitting here trying to look at this over and over and over again. You've always been a big fan of the basket. I think you've made this point many times.
I love the basket, and you rarely ever see if it hit right on the post. Now, if it hits behind it, if it hits that green cement,
yeah,
or if it touches the fan, it's going to be a home run. But if it hits that top of that post, the brace for the basket, and comes back into the field of play, I would imagine it's going to be a live baseball.
I can't tell. Maybe
and
you
if
can.
it's a live baseball, I would think that Mason Williams would be able to run the whole thing out.
Hey, the more you watch it, the harder it becomes to try
really
and
interesting.
come up with a verdict. They're having a hard time dealing with it in New York, too.
You know, this is really why, Tom, and nowadays especially, if you're a batter or a runner and you hit a ball that is questionable like this, you should just keep running. Because if this turns out to be deemed a live baseball, Mason Williams should be able to run all the way around the bases.
They sent it to second base.
How can that be a ground rule double? Jim Riggleman's going to get an answer to that. Actually, it's not a ground. It would be technically a ground rule because it would be specific to Wrigley Field. That's why if it bounces into the stands, that's a book rule double because it's in every rule book. If it's something too specific to the stadium, then it's a ground rule.
All right.
Huh. I don't know.
Maybe they had a different angle.
I think the Reds got jobbed there. I got to tell you, because that, to me, that's no different than hitting the ball off the ivy or on the underside of that basket.
All right, so a runner at second, no score in the game, and here's Phillip Ervin. Breaking ball in there for Mills to strike. Reds have a pair of hits early on against Mills, his 26-year-old right-hander. And a pitch on the way. Another breaking ball. This one stays up and in.
Wow, they're trying to make it tough on Ervin to hit the ball the other way. And this is one of those times where you start evaluating the batter here. Young guy, wants to get more playing time, wants to be in the mix. And this is the thing you've got to be able to do. Have a heady at bat, get that runner to third base.
This ball into left center field, and it will go to the ivy. Scoring is Williams, so back-to-back doubles by Williams and Ervin to begin the second inning, and the Reds are out to a 1-0 lead.
Now, curveball after curveball, eventually the hitter goes to school on that unless you make it a really good pitch. You've shown him what it looks like. And that's a nice hanger right there.
So a good way to get it started. Here in the second inning, and that'll bring Tucker Barney to the plate. That's not hard to figure out, Barney. Unless, of course, he was a big fan of Barney.
He was probably a little early, a little late for Barney.
I don't know. Barney's been around a while.
You're not talking about Barney Rubble.
No.
Oh, okay. See, I already went to Barney Rubble.
Come on.
A lot of people thinking, who the heck is Barney Rubble?
Well, I know who Barney Rubble is, but yeah. I liked Barney. I like Betty. Now Tucker's wearing some special shoes here today, and I guess he's on Twitter and sent out a tweet behind these shoes. Green and gold for my son's birthstone. Blue for him as well. Flash red for my wife, and their birth dates on the heel. How about that? Good stuff. Pull to the right side. A productive out by Barnhart. He'll advance Ervin on to third base. So now a big chance for Brandon Dixon.
You know what we've seen from Brandon Dixon, he seems to take a lot of first pitches in the at-bat. This is a situation here where, you know, you got to hunt a pitch that you can get into the outfield, that you can drive somewhere. They're bringing the infield in, try to make the ball be up in the zone, and don't wait around too long.
Off speed on the first pitch.
Yeah, Millsy likes that breaking stuff. Dropped his arm a little bit on that one.
Came back with another breaking ball, and this time Dixon way out in front of it and behind quickly 0-2. This is a situation you really love to see Dixon find a way to get that run in. The pitcher spot due up next.
Time to shorten up a little bit. Tell yourself you're not striking out. You're going to get the ball into the outfield.
He has seen nothing but breaking balls so far in this at bat.
Well, he's made a couple of mistakes with breaking pitches up in the zone, and Phillip Ervin took care of one on a 2-0 count. That one was left up there right for Brandon Dixon. Unfortunately, fouled it straight back. I would imagine that Mills is going to continue to throw that pitch. That seems like his go-to pitch, except try to work it down in the zone a little bit. Now they want the sinker away.
Second out of the inning.
That's when 92 looks like 102 after you've seen curveball after changeup after curveball, and then he dials up a fastball.
Matt Harvey, 3 hits and 41 at bats. He has 1 run batted in. And a first pitch breaking ball, and there a strike. You would think some of these Reds hitters may go to school on what we've seen regularly. It's been first pitch breaking ball to nearly every batter so far here today. Comes back with a fastball that's in there, strike 2. Every game around the major leagues except for this one on this Friday, August the 23rd. Will be played tonight, or August the 24th, I beg your pardon. And there's strike 3 to end the inning. But the Reds get doubles by Williams and Urban and lead 1-0. stretch for $49.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this very special offer. Look at the Reds on defense, presented by Ford behind Matt Harvey here today. It'll be Hamilton flanked by Urban in left, Mason in right. Regular infield except for Votto still on the disabled list. Not sure if he's going to be back on Sunday or not. Dixon gets a start there. Barnhart has played a lot of first base in Joey's absence back behind the plate. Phillip Urban, a run-scoring double to plate Mason Williams, and the Reds out to a 1-0 lead. Bottom of the second inning we go. You know, you look at the whole Matt Harvey situation, and Chris, you were sharing I thought some extremely intriguing, thoughts about Harvey and his future, and where does it all lead, because there's so many dynamics to all this thing. I mean, this guy hasn't been healthy basically until right about now, or very recently anyway, where he's starting to get back to all 100%. And he even says himself, it's still getting there. You have an agent who, whether you like him or not, if he's in your corner, you'll take Scott Boras all day, every day. Those on the other side of the table may not think a whole lot of him and the way he negotiates or what he does for his clients, but his job is to the player. He represents Harvey. And, what is he telling Harvey that he reasonably should expect as Zobrist bounces out to begin the inning? Basically, Harvey has not had a good year until this stint with the Reds in 2.5 seasons. So, is there a team out there that's going to give him a 3 or a 4-year contract for a pile of money? Or is he going to be one of those guys like a lot of them, even sitting on the sidelines now from this past winter, that are expecting A, never got A, never got B, never got C, and they're still looking for work?
Well, I don't think he'll fall in that category. But let's go back, though, a step or two and look at it from the Reds' perspective when they traded Devin Mesoraco for Matt Harvey. I mean, Harvey couldn't have been in a worse place with the New York Mets than he was at that time. I mean, everybody was ripping him for everything in the world, from being hurt to being out partying too much. And so he comes over to the Reds, and you suddenly realize he's a good guy. He's a very good teammate. He's a hard worker. He takes everything very seriously. And he's a guy that you could just tell by the way he goes about his business that he has higher expectations than what he's been able to deliver this year. So the Reds probably thought, well, we're going to get this guy. We'll be able to flip him at the trade deadline if he pitches well and get something in return, because maybe long term we can sign him, maybe not. But if you trade him, you can still go back and sign him in the wintertime. Doesn't keep you from doing that. Well, he pitched okay, but not great. So maybe the offers weren't there like they thought. And at that time, the Reds had 2 pretty good months in a row. June and July, winning records, putting on a little bit of a run now, maybe putting last year's debacle in the rearview mirror. And so it didn't happen. And now you come up to this, end of August deadline as well, and maybe the same thing happened there. Even though he's pitching better now than he did back in July, you still don't have people just falling all over themselves, giving you top prospects, and the Reds still want to maintain that, that momentum. So, that's, I think, from the Reds' perspective. Although it just goes to show you that, Plan A and Plan B didn't work out, which was flip him for something that you can get something now for. Now, whether they can sign him in the offseason, I have no idea. I have no idea at all. I don't think even he does, nor does Scott Boras. What kind of offers that people will be lining up to give Matt Harvey. All I can tell you that he tells me that he's feeling healthier every day. He's feeling like he's beginning to work his pitches better than he has in years. And that's a good sign for a guy that at one time was the most dominating pitcher around.
Well, you can tell just the quality time you have spent with him, that he trusts you very much and has been able to share, the I found it fascinating when he first came over, and you talked to him about him not being able to even feel his fingertips when you're out there trying to pitch a baseball game.
I didn't really understand the thoracic outlet syndrome surgery that he had till I started to research it a little bit. And, you know, after Tommy John surgery, it's one of the most common nowadays for pitchers. But, boy, he makes mincemeat of that part of the lineup with a couple of strikeouts.
Well, we talk about Jim Day a lot, getting the inside story. Chris Welsh all over this one. A controlled space. You have an upscale buffet, unlimited water and Coke products, and perfect for groups. 35 to 55. Book today at Reds.com/groups. What a start for Matt Harvey. 6 in a row retired as fan 4 of the 6. And the Reds have given him a 1-0 lead. They'll have a top of the order against Alec Mills here in the 3rd. Billy Hamilton struck out against Mills leading off the game. Two balls and 2 strikes on Hamilton. Timeout called as Mills started into his windup. Billy thought about it. Takes just a little bit low to run the count full.
Tell you one thing that strikes me about Mills right away is that he's got really good command.
Hooked into right field, a liner into the mitt of Ben Zobrist.
I mean, he's not overpowering by any means. He doesn't have an exceptional breaking pitch that he can go to in any situation and get a swing and a miss. But, I mean, it looks like he's got difference between his curveball and his slider, which is important. He's got a good feel of being able to add and subtract a little bit on the speed, but he's able to control the zone a little bit.
And, you know, that's the kind of pitcher, and you and I talk about this a lot. I mean, you even were talking about it before the game today, is having a guy like this in your system where you can bring him up, He might not pitch 6 innings and give up 2 or 3 runs, not suggesting that, but they know he's going to come up here and throw strikes. And Lord knows, with all the young pitchers or just pitchers in general, maybe not so young guys that the Reds have brought up there, they've had a really hard time, many of them, just having any command at all.
Well, as we've said many times, Tom, you know, throwing hard gets you signed. Throwing the ball where you want to gets hitters out. And that's a transition that you have to make the higher you go in professional baseball. Because the hitters don't hit the radar gun, they hit what they see. And it's a fact that if you put it in a weak part of the zone, they're going to hit the ball, you know, not as hard as you normally will. Sinker away.
And that's strike 3 called. He went out there twice in a row, and that time caught the corner.
I mean, that's at 90 miles an hour. So, you know, why try to hump up and throw the ball 95 miles an hour, have it end up down the middle when you can feather the outside corner? I think it was Junior Guerra the other day in Milwaukee was pitching very similar like that. He's figured that out at age 22.
Scooter, a base hit to center field his first time up. He's down a strike. That's one of your favorite lines you use all the time. Can tell with my eyes.
I learned that from the best. Our man Kevin down there in Atlanta. I got a question to ask you, Tom Brennan, because I know you've embraced the Players Weekend so much. Where did Scooter Gennett get that bat, you know, colored like that?
Dude, he owns a company.
I know.
He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, but they have a machine that does it?
I don't know, but if anybody can get it done, it's a boss. Ground ball to short. Inning over. How could you ask me that question?
Well, because you have all the answers.
I don't have the answer to anything. Just ask my wife. She reminds me of that all the time. Matt Harvey, we were wondering, would he be wearing a Reds uniform here today? And yet he's faced 6, retired 6, fanning 4 with an assortment of arsenal. Dick Williams, the president of baseball operations of the Reds, has already gone on record multiple times as saying the Reds have some money to spend this upcoming offseason, and the goal is to go out there and try and find a couple of pitchers. Now, that doesn't mean you go out and try to find free agent pitchers. You can make trades to get pitchers to come in here, maybe guys you had some control over in the future. But if the decision has been made, they're going to spend some money on pitching. I mean, Harvey, a guy they have to consider?
Oh, absolutely. I think they know the guy. I think that's important. Number one, you know his motivation, you know his work habits, you know how whether he's a good teammate or not, and it's no question that Harvey is that. But what I'm really liking more recently is the way the ball's coming out of his hand. I mean, he's got an exceptional movement with a very easy delivery. It doesn't look like he's really extending himself at all. I also like the same thing that we talked about with DeScafani and with Cole Hamels, is that if you look at him from the side, he's got great extension towards home plate. And that's why that 95-mile-an-hour fastball seems even a little bit faster than most hitters. He's got good direction, not falling off towards first base. Nice and easy.
3-2 to Contreras. That strike three called, and Contreras knew it. He knew it. 5 strikeouts through the first 7 batters of this game for Harvey.
Little slider right there. I'll tell you, the other thing that Harvey's doing is he also is showing some separation between his slider and his curveball. He had the first couple of strikeouts of Baez and Rizzo on curveballs, and then back-to-back strikeouts on the fastball, and then he gets a slider strikeout there. You know, interesting, Tom, there's a lot of different components that go into a major league delivery, and sometimes the timing of the delivery becomes very important, and I think that's the case with Matt Harvey. I've been told that if Harvey keeps the pace of his delivery within a certain time frame, say 2 seconds from start to finish, as opposed to 2.5 seconds or 3 seconds or 1.5 seconds on the short end, that he's much more effective with his release point, his velocity, his control, and so on. And it looks like he's got that timing locked in here today.
Harvey wondering where each of those last 2 pitches missed. They both look like strike 3 from up here. We're nearly at the top of this ballpark. And the first base runner of the game is Mills, the pitcher, a 2-out or a 1-out single here in the 3rd inning. I think Harvey's still a little upset about the 2 prior pitches not ringing Mills up. He's still looking in there. You know, we talk all the time about guys coming to the plate, and you use the term a lot, just put the ball in play. I don't know if there's a better illustration for a swing, even though he's a pitcher, and maybe better yet because he's a pitcher.
Yeah.
Then that swing right there by Mills. It was almost as though he watched that ball all the way and the bat make contact with it with that head down. Now, does that guarantee he's going to have a line drive single and a right? Of course not. But sometimes all you need is a ground ball to bring in a run. Look at his swing. Watch his head. And look at that.
Well, there would be something to say, you know, he got his head a little bit out over his front knee a little bit too much, didn't stay behind and drive it as much as, you know, maybe a regular hitter in the middle of the lineup would. But hey, line drive to right field, first major league hit, no complaints.
Jam shot roller. They will turn the double play on Almora. Weakly hit ball. Harvey has faced the minimum. He's allowed 1 hit, and the Reds lead 1-0. entertainment, and the Atlanta Braves in Miami to take on the Marlins. All the action begins at 7 Eastern time. We'll stream it live on Fox Sports app. And of course, those Atlanta Braves, what an unbelievable story they are. And you know, another series going on, the Cardinals and the Rockies. That begins tonight. Big time series. 2 of the 3 teams in the National League wild card. Both playing very well right now, and that ought to be an interesting series over the weekend. There's so many teams involved in that wild card that, you know, it's an old cliche, but so many of these clubs are basically playing playoff games from now till the end of September. Because look at all those teams with just 3.5 games within the wild card league. Reds lead 1-0 as they bat against Mills here in the 4th. Suarez down a strike. It was the National League West, you may remember, that put 3 teams in the playoffs a year ago. And 3 teams very much in the hunt to get there. The same 3 teams, in fact, this year. But now it's a National League Central trying to get 3 in. The Nationals have sort of slipped behind that pack, both for the division lead and the wild card leads. Not to say they couldn't get there. Hey, I'm with you. This young man's looked pretty good out there so far today. That's 6 strikeouts.
Gets a strikeout right here on a changeup after peppering the outside part of the plate with a fastball. Fastball's going 88, 90 miles an hour. That's a really good pitch. I'll tell you what's enjoyable about this game is that the pitchers, both of them, Harvey and Mills, and the hitters are ready to play. I mean, the pitchers are on top of the rubber ready to pitch, and the batters are getting into batter's box. I still think that ball that Mason Williams hit there in the 2nd inning was a home run.
I think it'd be pretty cool to go out there and ask one of those fans out there.
You think you could get them to tell a straight story?
No,
about
I mean,
that?
look, there's nothing you can do about it now, but I'd just be curious to ask him. Yeah, hey, come on now. You know.
You've sat out there in the bleachers.
No, I haven't.
Do you trust any of them?
I've not sat out there. I'd like to sit out there.
I've been out there.
I think it looks like a pretty cool place to hang out.
It is a great place to hang out.
Check swing, and Williams went around strike 3. That's 7 of them now in the game for Alec Mills.
Now the question is, did he offer?
I met a couple last night after the game, probably in their late 50s, early 60s. Hard-working guy. Him and his wife been together a long time, and kids are grown out of the house. And they decided about 2 weeks ago to come to Chicago. They'd never been to Chicago, either one of them. So obviously, here they're getting to see Wrigley Field for the first time. They're going to the Chicago Bears preseason game tomorrow, so they can go to see Soldier Field. And they were so genuinely excited to be here this weekend. It was awesome. Straight up in the air. And the shortstop Baez to get it in a 1-2-3 fourth. Reds lead 1-0. local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. And by Cincinnati Children's, now ranked number 2 in the nation by U.S. News and World Report. Ah, yes, the city of broad shoulders, the Windy City. Back in Chicago, and roughly 5 miles or so just north of downtown. 8-10 blocks in from the lake. Sits Wrigley Field inside of what is known as Wrigleyville. First pitch swinging Murphy. Well, I am stunned these last couple of nights. And look, the guy's had 2 hits in each of his first 2 games as a Cub, and we've said he's one of the best hitters in baseball. But the MO on Murphy has always been a guy at 6, 7, 8 pitches, you know, really working a count. Here in the last couple of nights, he's going up there hacking.
I think the 2 pitchers the Reds have pitched the last couple of days are guys that have the ability to throw strikes. And they've also got a very good slider. Same thing goes for DeSclafani last night, as goes for Harvey, is that you really don't want to get into a situation where you're going to have to hit the slider. More likely to get a fastball early. Although there is a leadoff slider to Baez. He struck out on a curveball his first time. You know, Baez doing a little bit better job of getting squared up with his body as he makes an approach ready to swing the bat. And if you just watch his front side, he starts open with his left foot, you know, down here. Just watch where this foot goes. You know, if it ends up going this way, you pitch him outside. If it ends up going too far this way, that's when you can get the ball in. But I still think you can go out on him. But you got to throw it for a strike.
Three balls and no strikes to count on Baez with 1 out.
And sometimes the movement of that foot is only an inch or 2. I mean, it's not anywhere nearly as exaggerated as you think. Oh,
that's
no
the first
walk. Leo.
Well, we found out last night you have to keep an eye on Baez. It's no great secret. He has 21 stolen bases. He's only been thrown out 5 times. Harvey has only pitched out of the stretch to 1 batter in this game, and that lasted 1 pitch. He gave up a single to Mills with 1 out in the 3rd, and then got Almora to end the inning on a double play. Here's Rizzo. High fly ball on the right. This will stay in the yard. Tagging up Baez, and he's in there safely. But that's good base running. Really good.
Well, he sees the ball into the air and he realizes that ball's deep enough. Now, Mason Williams got a good arm, but he's going to make a play right here. And why not? I mean, even a great throw doesn't get him because he just outran the play.
So he's in scoring position with a tying run by tagging up there. And here's Zobrist. He bounced out to Suarez his first time up.
Well, by getting that guy in the scoring position there, you reduce the number of hits it takes for your team to get a run in. So when he's standing on first base, chances are it's going to take 2 hits to get him in, unless it's a long double. Zobrist much more likely to get a base hit than he is a long hit.
2-0. There goes a runner. Throw down to third. And he's out. Boy, and Zobrist is looking down here. Yeah. Thinking, what in the world are you doing?
Put a governor on that engine.
Reds are happy about it. Still lead 1-0. September the 8th, you can be there for $12. And thanks to Queen City Sausage, the first 20,000 fans receive a Joe Morgan replica statue. Of course, we're celebrating the 5th anniversary of the Hall of Famer's bronze statue dedication ceremony. Go to Reds.com for tickets. There'll be a 4:10 start that day. Here we go, top of the 5th. Reds with a 1-0 lead.
Well, the Reds will take that gift out that Baez gave them at third base to end the inning. In a 1-0 ball game. I just can't figure that.
I'm sure Joe Madden's wondering the same thing, and a lot of his teammates. Pulled to the right side by Barnhart.
And I'm wondering what Brian Butterfield had to say to him as he came up after being tagged out of third base.
Now look, you asked a question a little bit earlier, and I know you were able to gather some information being close with the Jeanette family about Scooter's bat. Now we're going to sit on that, but just to give everybody a little teaser, because you actually found out, you asked me the question just sort of flippantly, you know, like, where did he get that stuff done on his bat? And we made the comment that Scooter and his brother owned that company, right?
Yeah.
And I flippantly said, well, he's the boss. He can get whatever he wants done. But it's a very interesting story, which Chris Welsh has just picked up on, and he'll share it when Scooter comes up, probably in the next inning.
Well,
it will definitely be the next inning.
The source of the whole thing is the fact that Scooter's mom, Tina Jeanette, watches us probably each and every night on Fox Sports Ohio, and heard us talking about it. So we'll give you the full story when he comes up to the plate.
Can't wait to hear it. Reds scored in the second inning. They got a double by Williams, which was initially ruled a home run. Then they overturned the call as Dixon has gone on strikes for the second time. Williams wound up scoring when the next batter, Phillip Ervin, doubled into left center field. And now a quick message from Miami Valley Gaming.
Get ready to get lucky.
So here's Harvey with 2 down and nobody on. Hey, some of you, I understand, might be asking, where's Jim Day? Well, his wife, Stephanie, just had surgery, and she's doing well, we understand. But, Jim thought it was important for him to get back there and be able to take care of her. And, Steph, if you're watching the game today, you and the dogs while Jim's on the way home, hope you're doing well. Thoughts and prayers. Quick recovery. August 24th, 1971, Wrigley Field. Ernie Banks hits home run number 512, the final home run of his Hall of Fame career. At the time, it was the most in Cubs history and tied for the 7th most in Major League Baseball history. What a beautiful man he was. Got to know him relatively well in the years I was here, and one of his teammates, another Hall of Famer, Ron Santo. If you're in with Santo, then you're in with Banks and Billy Williams and all those guys. And well, what a beautiful man he was. Billy Williams is here at the ballpark today. Ron Santo's wife has started an incredible organization where they train dogs to help children with major disabilities. And they've placed 38 dogs already, tens of thousands of dollars to train the dogs. And they've reached children so far in 11 different states.
Wow.
And they've just done great work. It was so good to see Vicky Santo before the game today. So kind of her to stop up and say hello. Looks great, doing great. But check it out at the Ron Santo Foundation. It's good stuff. Old number 10. Oh, what a guy he was. What a guy he was. He is to Chicago with Joe Nuxall in many ways, although Santo wasn't from here like Joe was from Cincinnati, as Zobrist has gone swinging. But in the hearts of Cub fans, they feel the same way as Reds fans do about Nuxall. They just love the guy.
Here's a changeup. You can see the grip right there, the pronation of his hand, meaning he ends up with his pinky on top. Now look at that ball just run away from Zobrist there, a 3-pitch strikeout. 6 of them now for Harvey. You know, that's a pitch, that changeup, that when Harvey first came over to the Reds, he really didn't have very good feel of that pitch. But you can see now as he's gotten more and more innings under his belt, he's beginning to like even out his pitching repertoire a little bit. Doesn't seem to be forcing the fastball like he did early on. Always dangerous guy at the plate. I mean, every time I see Kyle Schwarber, you know, you're thinking this guy's one swing away from hitting one over the scoreboard.
Take a look at that bat.
Yeah. Nice little handiwork there.
Yeah, Scooter Jeanette's going to bat in the 6th inning, and I can't wait for you to share that story after making contact with Scooter's mom. I don't know what's going on there with Schwarber and the umpire. I don't know if there's some confusion over what the count is. It says 3-2 on the board. And hook to the right side. Scooter will throw out Schwarber for the 2nd out here in the Chicago 5th. Now Happ. He struck out his first time. Cincinnati connections with each of these last 2 batters. Schwarber grew up just north of town in Middletown, and Happ a star at the University of Cincinnati. High pop up. Barnard have a chance on this one. Breaking ball near a strike, and it's 1-2 on Happer. I think that's an easy one to figure out. Happer, much like Matt Harvey's nickname, Harv. Straight up in the air, and this one will be playable for Tucker Barnhart. He's got it in fair territory, and that will end the inning. Boy, Matt Harvey is rolling. Rolling through 5. It's allowed 1 hit. Look at these two starting pitchers today. 1 walk, 14 strikeouts. They've combined to allow a total of 4 hits and 1 run. I mean, these have been strike throwers in this game so far today, and there are very few baseball games, really you see much anymore, where you can say that about the 2 starters in the game.
Well, I think the other part of that, Tom, is that the hitters are in the box as well. It's not a face-off as to who can distract the other by waiting a long time either on the mound or in the batter's box to see who blinks first. Mills is ready to pitch, Harvey's ready to pitch, and the hitters are ready to hit. I think this is the way MLB would love to see every one of their games go.
I think you're right.
Ready baseball.
Yeah, this has been ready baseball. All right, here's Bone Hamilton.
It's a good nickname. I think he's got about 6 pairs of shoes to go along with his uniform.
Those are sweet. Down to Rizzo. 1 out. It was 12 in a row. Mills had retired coming into this 6th inning, so tack on 1 more since he gave up consecutive doubles to Williams and Urban, producing this game's only run back in the 2nd inning. Tell you, this guy has really been impressive. And this is a guy who wasn't having a particularly good season in the minor leagues. He had a 5-12 record, an ERA of over 4. But if nothing else, he has come up here, not back down, had a nice mix of off-speed stuff to go along with a very below average by today's standards fastball. But throwing strikes. Peraza rolls 1 to Baez. He may have learned his lesson last night. Similar play, he stayed back on the ball and didn't cut it loose, and Peraza beat it out for a hit.
Well, he took an extra crow hop right here. El Maggio did, as he just cuts it loose. I mean, coming across the infield, this ball's got to be 95 plus. Put his body behind it, gathered himself, and bang, bang at first base, but the ball beat Peraza. All right, now the word on Scooter Gennett. We know that Tina Gennett, his mom, watches us all the time. And so she sent us this message through your dad's wife, Amanda Brenneman.
Yes.
Who they tweet back and forth. They text back and forth an awful lot. And wanted to let us know that there's a off the wall.
So that'll be a double for Gennett. So please, people want to hear this.
So Scooter played with a young man on the Sarasota baseball high school team, and the mother, whose name is Michelle Held, is a very talented artist. And so she volunteered to design those bats, and Scooter bangs the wall down with this one. And that's how he got those. And an outstanding job of art and a pretty good swing by Scooter Gennett to get a double.
Michelle Held.
H-E-L-D.
They scored that an error.
That's a bad call. That's a really bad call. The other thing about Michelle Held is she does amazing murals for homes and so on, and just wanted to pass that on and congratulate Scooter and her, and thank you Tina Gennett and Amanda Brenneman.
Thank you to all.
That information.
Absolutely.
Well, I still can't believe that's an error.
I can't believe it either. I mean, I wrote it down in the book as a double, and I got to believe that's going to get changed. Schwarber did get a glove on it, but that ball just kept carrying. We saw a similar kind of ball that Williams hit that looked like a fly ball, pretty well hit it to left center field, but just kept going.
And the reason I don't think it should be a hit is because when the ball hit his glove, his arm was completely extended, it looked like to me. And I think a lot of times that is the determination for an official score as to whether you give an error or a hit.
Don Frisky is the official scorer here at Wrigley Field.
See, he's fully extended right there. If the ball is closer to his body and he doesn't have his arm extended, then it could be an error. Boy, this would be a big run right here if Suarez can get it in.
Two balls and two strikes on Suarez. Breaking ball, tried it again. So it goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. There's some action in the Chicago bullpen. We understand Randy Rosario and Brandon Kinsler, a left-hander and a right-hander, throwing 3-2 on Suarez. Pulled foul. Borderline pitch here, and Suarez takes ball 4. Okay, decision time now for Joe Madden. Reds have Mason Williams coming to the plate, and here comes Madden.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer right here. I think you got everything that you could expect out of Alec Mills. Did a great job here this afternoon keeping his team in the game. He'll leave the game, it looks like, down 1-0, but he ought to get a big round of applause.
Sure should. Pitched well. You know, you see a game like today, it's the kind of guy you say to yourself, hey, look, he missed all last year hurt. He might be worth taking a look at during the offseason. Expecting Mike Montgomery to come off the disabled list, but he should feel very good about his outing today. The 2 runners belong to him. Jeanette out at second base, and over at first base, Eugenio Suarez, and the batter is Williams, and the pitcher is Randy Rosario, a left-hander on from the bullpen. And he delivers strike 1.
They really looked at Rosario as more of a long man out of the bullpen, although he comes in right here to take on a left-hander with 2 outs. They're probably looking at him for 1 batter. Recently recalled from down in the minor leagues, Palo Fino.
I want to correct something too, by the way. I slipped up earlier when I was talking about that bat company that Scooter has. It's with his father. I said his brother. I would say his father, so I apologize to the Jeanettes for. You don't even have a brother. 0-2 the count. Swing and a miss, and that's all. Rosario does his job. The Reds still lead 1-0. Boy, how good has Matt Harvey been today?
On top of his game, as you like to say, and he's had some strikeouts to prove it. Harvey has. He's got really just about everything working for him. His changeup has been good. His curveball and slider have been right on the mark. And here he is, takes a 1-0 shutout into the 6th inning. Last year, if you remember, he went 5 2/3 without giving up a base hit.
And a base hit into left field to begin the Chicago 6th inning by Contreras. Harvey coming off a 1-2-3 fifth. So now you're going to get a pinch hitter. Tommy La Stella will come up to bat for Rosario. Strikes out the only batter he faces in relief of Mills, who went 5 2/3, allowed 3 hits, 1 run earned. He walked 1 batter. That was the final batter he faced in the game, and he fanned 8. Looked good. Stella can swing the bat.
He can. He's a nice guy to have as a piece off your bench. He can hit a fastball. Not really a lot of home run power. Had 5 last year. Has not hit one yet this season. And like most guys that are good off the bench in a pinch hitting role, he's a very good fastball hitter.
Hit hard right at Urban. One out.
You know, I think that's the difference when you look at the Cubs roster and a roster of a lot of teams that are under 500 right now. Tommy La Stella is a starter on a lot of teams.
Yes.
Here he's riding the bench. And those teams that are under 500, if they're starting La Stella, they've got a guy that probably belongs in AAA on their bench, or at least like a 4A quote-unquote player.
I've always been interested the last couple of years just to think when we see the Cubs playing, we see him frequently being in the same division. What kind of player La Stella would be playing every day? He's going to get his chance sooner or later, not necessarily here, but somewhere else. You can't keep him on your roster forever. He'll, you know, reach a certain point where they'll turn a guy like him loose, maybe not go to arbitration with him, leave as a free agent. Nearly 38,000 here today. And a base hit into center field by Almora Jr.
Good bit of hitting right there. Got the pitch up a little bit. Tried to get the fastball down and in on him, hoping that he would roll over on it right there, and he stayed right behind it and drove it through the middle.
First time out today for Danny Darwin. I mean, why would he come out the way Harvey's been cruising right along? The Cubs had one hit until this sixth inning, and now they've strung together a pair of singles. D squared. We understand he wanted to go with either Dr. Death, the nickname he was given coming up in professional baseball, but you know, baseball thought, no, we don't want any reference to death, and that's certainly understandable. So he just went with D squared, and you figure it out. Danny Darwin.
Well, as long as your nicknames are politically correct, all is good.
All right, big at bat here. One-time teammates for many years, Daniel Murphy and Matt Harvey. Murphy today is fly to left and grounded out to first base.
You know, Murphy looks a little bit like Joey Votto in the batter's box, just the way his body posture is. I mean, their swings aren't really close to being the same. They both put the barrel on the ball, but just kind of the way he gets down right about there. Looks very similar. You know, the whole idea is to get into a comfortable position where you're going to be able to use your body right. You're going to be able to turn your torso, get the bat head through the zone, kind of keep your hips neutral.
Beat him with a fastball there.
Well, see if Harvey goes back to what his bread and butter has been so far today, which is something off speed. Lately, he's been using that changeup more than he's used the slider. Although the slider goes straight down, both are good options here as long as you keep it down and kind of start it as a strike and then break it out of the zone.
Base hit right field. They are going to hold the runner at third. Williams getting the ball quickly and throwing a seed to the plate. On a 2-2 pitch, a base hit by Murphy has loaded the bases for Javier Baez.
Shows you what a really good hitter Daniel Murphy is. This is a good pitch. It's a fastball down below the knees. I mean, that ball is only a few inches off the plate. And he goes right down there and swats it into right field. Good aggressive defense here by Mason Williams. Throw on the money. So no damage yet, although now you're right in the center of this very difficult batting order.
And of course now you're facing Baez, who leads the National League and runs batted in. One more than Eugenio Suarez. Baez also leads the National League in total bases. I mean, he is just having a monster year. And he continues to deliver the goods. They're going to send in one, hold the other. We're tied at one. RBI number 94 for Javier Baez. Fourth hit of this inning.
This is the maturation of Javier Baez. When you start taking pitches that are, that ball really ran back almost to the inner third of the plate, but he's thinking right field anyway the entire time because he's thinking Harvey's going to keep the ball away from him. Look at him, look to right field, stay behind the ball. Young man is getting better and better every time we see him.
That's going to be all for Harvey. Pitched a mighty good game here today. Really good. He leaves. Cubs have the bases loaded. They have the left-handed batting Anthony Rizzo coming up. Very interesting. The Jim Riggleman, again, this is the second time we've seen this in the last handful of days where he's elected in a really tight situation, in a money position, if you will, to bring in Cody Reed rather than Amir Garrett.
I think that, rather than being a comment on Garrett, that shows you how far up in the world Cody Reed has come. His slider is the key to this at bat right here.
Way outside. 1-1 game. Cubbies batting here in the last of the 6th inning. Game 2 of a 4-game series. Day games tomorrow and Sunday. And a fastball in there, strike. Took a little off that fastball. That's not the four-seamer that Reed can cut loose in the mid-90s, upper 90s occasionally.
I think he realizes the need of command outweighs the need for speed. Not that time.
What a play by Barnhart. That's probably some luck involved there, but that's getting it done.
Ball finds glove.
Yeah. Can't get your body in front of it. Two and one with the bases loaded. Now there's the off-speed pitch you were talking about. Breaking ball. It's a big pitch right here, 2-2. Because you just wonder if Reed would have the confidence to throw a breaking ball 3-2. Throws a fastball low. Rizzo chase ball 4 right there.
Thank you very much. So that was a slider on a 3-2 count. I imagine now that Reed will have a little more confidence to come right back with that same pitch.
Back to the mound. There's one. And there is safe as a call at first base. I think when Reed was almost in a state of shock as that ball got on him.
He got rid of it though and threw
yes, he did.
Strike to Tucker Barnhart. Interesting way that Rizzo went running down the line right here. He was actually running in fair territory. And then he darted back into the runner's lane right there. That ball in the dirt, and I guess it pulled Dixon right off the bag. That is too bad right there. Good play by Dixon to scoop it. You know, I wonder if Tucker Barnhart was bothered by the bat that was in the front of the home plate area. We don't really get to see where he was running right here. But I'm wondering if him running down the first baseline had something to do with forcing a bad throw by Barnhart. Watch him now. In fair territory, he takes off. Barnhart throws it, and at the last couple of steps is when Rizzo goes back into foul territory. There's a foot on the bag. Oh, I think they're going to call him out.
Well, we will await the verdict. It's a huge call. Does he have control of the ball? Is his toe on the bag? It sure looked like it. And I tell you, that's a nice play by Brandon Dixon if he comes away with getting this out. This guy's not been a first baseman. That's his natural position. The runner is out at first. So the double play. How about Cody Reed? Comes in to face Anthony Rizzo. Goes to a full count and gets him on the inning-ending double play. Keep up with game highlights here from the players before and after the games. Follow along at Fox Sports OH. Well, when everybody put their heads on the pillows last night, I'm not sure anybody, including Dick Williams or Nick Kroll or Jim Riggleman or Matt Harvey, and think about that for a minute. When you get up the next day, are you being told you got to move somewhere? Now, look, they may make a lot of money and all those other sorts of things, but they do also have a life.
Well, but if you're going to move somewhere at this time of year, the chances are you're going on a team that is contending for a championship too. So that maybe lightens the moving load, so to say. And no one really outside this Reds organization who are in the know, I'm talking about only the inner circle people, can really gauge whether the Reds had enough offered to them to make the deal or not. So, if you're looking for Matt Harvey to make, 6 or 7 more starts before now the end of the year, and he helps his team get to a good place as far as momentum, and it's a good move to keep him around. I mean, he's a solid guy in the clubhouse, and boy, he has pitched really well his last couple of times out.
All right, so it's a tie game, and the Cubs go to their bullpen. Great nickname here, as that's a check swing and a miss by Irvin. His nickname's Magic. You've liked this right-hander for a low.
Well, the guy's got over 100 saves in the major leagues, and he's averaging about 85 miles an hour. Just goes to show you that you can do it a lot of different ways and overpower him.
Steve Cishek.
Now, Cishek, I'm actually getting mixed up. He's a guy that when he first came up, I never understood how a right-hander could ever center him up. I mean, he was throwing 93, 94 from way down around Laredo. Nicknamed Speed Pass.
Yeah, great nickname.
Look at the numbers. A 1.7 earned run average. 62 games now. This is one of those pitchers that comes in where the right-handed hitters look at the left-handed hitters and say, hey, guys, it's on you. Because he looks like he's releasing that ball somewhere behind your left ear if you're in that right-handed batter's box.
2-0 on Tucker in a 1-1 game in his 7th. Ball hit hard, but right at the left fielder. I'm still surprised they have not changed. Or maybe they did change it now that I'm looking up on the scoreboard. It says the Reds have 3 hits. I did not hear an announcement. Yeah, they didn't change it. I'm still stunned they haven't changed that call in left field on Schwarber. From an error to a double. But maybe they're not. That was off the bat of Scooter Gennett in the 6th inning. Big swing and a miss by Brandon Dixon. And he's out of there on strikes for the 3rd straight time. 1-1 game as they stand and stretch at Wrigley Field. Bar at the Riverfront Club, presented by Jack Casino. It's an all-inclusive upscale food buffet. 26-foot high definition video wall. It's climate controlled up there. For tickets, visit reds.com/groups. Great spot. All right, here we go. Chicago bats in the last of the 7th inning, and Cody Reed, who came on with the bases loaded to face Anthony Rizzo in the 6th and got him to bounce into a 1-2-3 double play.
Oh, what a great at bat for Cody Reed that was.
Well, you know, baseball and life, funny games. Because the first 3-2 pitch that Reed threw was ball 4.
Yeah. By a long shot.
By a long shot. And Rizzo generally has a very good eye at the plate, very good plate discipline, but it's 3-2. He's got the bases loaded. He didn't want to get rung up on strikes, and he was able to foul the ball off. But just think of the difference in perception if that's ball 4 compared to the 1-2-3 double play to end the inning. And then Reed comes out and walks Sobris to start the 7th.
Now, you know, just because you get past the number 4 guy in the order with the Cubs, it doesn't mean it gets on any easier. You got back-to-back young hitters, Schwarber and Happ, a lefty and then a switch hitter, and then Wilson Contreras, who had from the majority of this year, he was about right in the middle of the order. Kind of funny how things work out. Last year at this time, Wandy Peralta is the left-hander who'd be in the game. Earlier this year, Amir Garrett would be the guy that would be in the game, and now this tight, high-leverage situation is Cody Reed.
Now let me ask you a question on that. And I know you may not know the precise answer. I mean, Jim Riggleman would probably be the only guy that could answer this for sure, but just, you know, if you had to speculate on it. Do you think that has more to do with trying to win a game or more to do with development or both?
Oh, it's winning a game for Jim Riggleman right now, and I think the organization too.
Because look, I think a lot of fans out there would totally understand if the Reds are putting some of these young pitchers that they're probably going to have to make decisions on very, very soon. Because let's be honest about it, they really don't know what they have for sure in Reed or Robert Stevenson at this point, what their future may hold, and they're going to be out of options next year. So, you know, I think a lot of fans are accepting of the fact the Reds' record being what it is, that if they were managing games for development at this point, there'd be nothing wrong with that.
Well, of the three left-handers I mentioned, Reed, Garrett, and Peralta, none of them are going anywhere. I had a very interesting conversation with Reed yesterday, as a matter of fact, and it really complimented him on how good he has looked since he's been up here this time. And I asked him point blank, I said, well, what's been the big difference for you? And I already had some ideas of what it would be. My ideas were he slowed his mechanics down a little bit. He seemed more under control. His alignment towards home plate is better. And he threw me completely off when he said, you know what? I'm no longer worried about what happens if I throw a bad pitch. Because once it leaves my hand, I can't control it. And that's one of the biggest mental obstacles young players have. Because they think about the what if instead of the what. And that is a what if on the corner.
Boy, you're not lying. I mean, that is a money pitch right there. Wow. Coming in a side gate. That's big league pitch. And the Happer not so happy. 2 down in the inning, and here comes Contreras, who started that run-scoring 6th inning with a single off Harvey. So Reed trying to put away Contreras and give the Reds a chance in the 8th. They will bat for Reed starting the 8th inning and then roll over to Hamilton, then Peraza. Contreras hanging around. That one they have climbed up and hit him. When they brought Herrera into the game, he's actually now in the 9 spot. So I beg your pardon. He will lead off. Forgot he came into the game back in the 6th. So Herrera to be followed by Hamilton and Peraza. Contreras a dangerous hitter.
Yeah.
You can say that about virtually everybody in this lineup.
Guy is just so strong. I mean, Willie the Beast. Going with the slider.
Got him. Oh, popped out of the mid of Tucker Barnhart. That wind really beginning to pick up now, and it looks like it's blowing straight into left field, more towards the left field line, a crosswind as it's begun to pick up, but certainly favoring the right-handed batter if you get it in the air. 2-2 pitch. Now Dixon will let Reed know what he's going to do over there, because you know the runner's going to get started here on 3-2. That's Zobrist over there at first base. Three and two the count, and here it comes. Straight up in the air, and somebody's got to come get it. That'll be Hamilton. And the inning is over. What an outing by Cody Reed. And it may not be over yet. Man, he looks like a different cat right now. All righty, the String Bean Slinger. That's his nickname for Carl Edwards Jr. String Bean Slinger.
I imagine from where he's from down there in Newberry, South Carolina, that they've got some string beans growing about this time of year, getting ready to be pulled off the vine.
Take that to the bank.
Originally drafted 48th round.
Wow.
By the Texas Rangers, 2011. Boy, he's had a nice career here, especially the last few years.
When this guy throws strikes, he's one of the toughest pitchers to hit in the game.
Well, you know, he lives at the top of the strike zone, and Tom, occasionally we talk about it. You know, I know that you're beginning to come around full circle on it, and is the spin rate of that fastball, and his is, since he's right over the top, it really has great carry to it. As you can see, it almost rises coming out of his hand there. And that's the perception from the hitter standpoint. Boy, you got a lot. I mean, the shoes, the socks.
No, he's looking good.
Yeah.
He's looking good. All right, Dilson Herrera now with a count of 3 balls and a strike. His first at bat in a 1-1 game.
Dilly.
There was some talk they weren't going to allow that, but apparently they let it go. He just swung at what appeared to be ball 4. Of course, that is playing off of a television commercial.
Well, he can always change that too. My new favorite for him is DEEEEEELSON.
Yes, and you got to say it multiple times.
The way you pronounce it.
That's right. And Dilson has just drawn a walk to begin the inning. It's a good at bat. Good plate appearance. So we talked about with Carl Edwards. I mean, this guy, he is certainly one of the more intriguing pitchers in all of baseball. Because I mean to tell you, this guy averages over 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. This guy is really tough to hit. But when he's run into trouble, it's when he can't find a strike zone.
Well, last year he averaged almost 5 walks per 9 innings. He's cut that down by 1 this year.
But that's still too many.
But remember that he's only got really only a little bit over 1 year of Major League service time. So he's still kind of a newbie.
Sure. Well, here's Billy Hamilton. Pulls the bat away, ball 1. I'll tell you what, I would make this guy throw a strike before I even tried to bunt.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure he can throw 3 strikes before 4 balls. Well, he does throw him a strike. Pulls the bat away again. And laid down perfectly by Hamilton. Herrera had thoughts of going on to third base, and it was a catcher, Herrera, who realized that Baez did not come to cover third base. He was going to cover second base. And Herrera thought momentarily about sprinting it for third. So Hamilton gets a sacrifice. The Reds have the go-ahead run in scoring position. And now you have Peraza and Jeanette with a chance to drive him in. Had a good rip there and fouled it back.
Yeah, that's about as high in the zone that you can afford to chase a fastball from Edwards before it becomes very tough to get on top of.
Hit off the end of the bat, barely making contact there. Peraza, and Edwards jumps in front at 0-2.
Tell you what the Cubs have done right here. They've really brought Ben Zobrist, the right fielder, in very shallow out there compared to where Schwarber's plays in left field. This is where Schwarber's out. He's out near the warning track, and actually Zobrist has moved back a little bit. But I mean, look how much closer he is there, because how many times have we seen Peraza just dump one right in there? Take one of those right now.
Herrera's got a huge lead out there, and they're going to give him a cursory look back.
Well, they're not holding him on at all. Daniel Murphy, the second baseman, he's not moving very well laterally, so he's not going to be coming over there at all. The only guy you have to worry about is Baez. And it's when they sneak in behind you, that's when the runner ought to be aware.
That's a beautiful block by Contreras.
I mean, with one out, you make a play like this. If this ball squirts away from him and you get a runner at third base, it changes the entire game. You don't always look at a blocked ball in the dirt as a game changer, but that is.
Raza putting together a very fine season, trying to break a 1-1 tie here in the 8th. He had another good cut. That's his second swing in this at bat that he's had a pitch to hit and fouled it back. One and two on Peraza. In the air, straight away center field. Ball will be caught by Almora. 2 down.
Get over 9,100 below MSRP on this specially equipped Sierra 1500 Denali.
All right, here's Scooter Gennett, and out comes Joe Madden. He's already signaled for the left-hander Justin Wilson in his bullpen. And this is what Scooter talked about with Jim Day in that interview the other night. He's starting to really like this. When opposing managers bring in a left-hander to face him in a clutch situation. We saw it in Milwaukee the other night. And on the first pitch, he banged one of the seats in right field. Scooter Gennett Take a look at Scooter against left-handers. This is why he's starting to like when teams make this kind of move. Look at those numbers.
Boy, that is just an incredible jump, because when you face a guy like Justin Wilson, his batting average against this year against left-handed hitters down in the 170s.
All right, here we go. Go ahead run at second base. And he tried to hold up and couldn't do it. Now, Wilson's another guy. When he's throwing strikes, as good a left-handed reliever, stuff-wise, as anybody in the league.
Yeah, you know, he's added a pitch over the last couple of years. It used to be fastball, hard breaking pitch, slurvy slider, but now he's added a little bit of a cutter, and that was what the last pitch was. Just darts away from a lefty a little bit.
But you saw the 30 walks on there. 97 fastball at the knees.
That's just unhittable right there.
I'm not sure Scooter thought that was a strike.
The red of the seam was on the block of the plate.
It's the old Doug Harvey line, right?
Yeah.
0-2 the count. Well, he had a good rip there, fouled it off. The wind, I don't know if we've got weather coming. They weren't calling for it. But here in Chicago, it's so hard to gauge hour to hour, day by day, what's in store weather-wise here. That wind is howling. Struck him out. Inning over. Wilson comes in and strikes out Scooter. Cubs will bat in the bottom of the 8th in a 1-1 game. Ohio has been brought to you by Toyota. For over 30 offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Ram. It's a no comparison event at your Ram dealer. Don't miss the great deals on Ram today. But what a cool shot that is on a cloudy summer Friday in Chicago. Well, we've seen this many times before from Jim Riggleman, where once the Cubs announce a pinch hitter to lead off an inning, in this case David Bodie, right-handed batter, he will go to the mound and bring in Jared Hughes, who's already in. So we'll take a quick break. Nice job by Reed today. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Reds and the Cubs are tied at 1, and Jared Hughes now takes over on the mound. Bodie, the starter at third here last night. And he is pinch hitting now for Wilson, who faces one batter. That was Jeanette, picked up a strikeout. Swing and a miss.
Oh, man.
From the robot. Why does he have that nickname, Jared Hughes?
I do a robot impersonation all the time in the clubhouse. I'll just be walking around and be like, and do my impersonation. So everybody kind of realizes that's something that I do every day. Some people call me the robot. But of course, the ostrich is a classic nickname. I've had it since college. So I was kind of torn. Should I go robot or ostrich? And then I just figured, you know what? I would like to really show my robotic side on the field this year.
Don't you love that guy?
Oh, no doubt about it.
I mean,
no doubt. As likable a guy as ever put on a Reds uniform. And that's not exaggerating or over-exaggerating. He is as good a guy as they've ever had play for this franchise.
well, he's also got a pitch that is just one of the nastiest sinkers I've ever seen.
One ball, one strike.
I mean, look where he is on those pitches. We have that box, the strike zone there. I mean, it gives a really good feel for him not throwing a ball that even half the baseball very often goes above that bottom line. I mean, just lives down there at the bottom of the zone. And if you go down there enough, eventually hitters begin to chase it even a little bit lower and lower. Because they're looking low, and you're giving it to them low, but a little bit too low.
Almora gone on strikes, back-to-back strikeouts, and again pounding down, down, down. Again is Hughes.
Now there's the box, and there are the numbers. Strikeout pitch is number 4. The key to those, though, is make that look like it's going to be a strike coming out of your hand, so that when it does go over the plate, and that's where we measure it, it's down around, the bottom end or below the zone.
All right, so now Daniel Murphy, be careful here. In the air to deep right field, and the Cubbies have taken a lead.
The remarkable thing is not that Daniel Murphy can hit, because we've seen him do that for a long time. But the remarkable thing for me is that there was not one other major league team besides the Cubs that claimed him.
I'm with you all the way there. Couldn't believe it.
I mean, for $4 million, which is basically what they're paying him through the end of the season, you could keep him from going to the Cubs if he were another contender.
Bouncing ball off the bat of Baez, and well, he's busting it up the line there. That'll end the inning, but the damage done. First pitch with 2 outs. Murphy, his first home run as a Cub. And what a time to get it. Be there for as low as $12. Queen City Sausage will make sure the first 20,000 fans receive a Joe Morgan replica statue. Tickets are available at Reds.com. The home run, StatCast AI, powered by AWS. Daniel Murphy jumping on a first pitch from Jared Hughes. So Pedro Strop has done a little bit of everything in his career with the Cubs, and right now he is serving as their closer. Brandon Morrow is out. Strop has been an excellent pitcher here for a long time.
Yeah, he broke in with Texas, has been with Baltimore, but he's been here with the Cubs since 2013. And for a long time, one of the best setup men in the business. Every time we see Strop, though, that hat of his gets more and more cockeyed.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened when you get older. You know, a lot of things start going that way.
Start leaning to the left?
Yeah, there's a lot of leaning. And hoping a wall is here to hold you up. Suarez more than capable of tying this baby up with one big crack of the bat. He has 28 of them on a year. Started 2, laid off. Suarez will be followed by, looks like Preston Tucker down there. As Happ goes into right field. And this ball is in the air to left center. Did he get enough of it? We are tied on the home run by Suarez. He's been doing it all year long. 29th home run, 93rd run batted in. What a time to get it.
Now he just hit a home run off of one of the toughest pitchers in the league to take deep. He got a 2-2 splitter at 90 miles an hour, and boy, those splitters that end up around waist high, they go a long way.
How about that? A
That
home
is
run by
exciting.
Murphy in the bottom of the 8th to take the lead, and Suarez begins this 9th inning with a game-tying long ball. Tucker batting for the pitcher Hughes, who's now taken off the hook. Who knows? Maybe they can get him a win. They can get another run here and nail it down. You throw a fastball in the wrong spot to this guy, you'll have a 1-run lead. Tucker's got some pop in his back. This one popped up. One away. That will bring Philip Urban to the plate. Down to third. The throw by Happ is in time, and that'll be the second out. David Hernandez is throwing in the Reds bullpen. So is Raisel Iglesias in case the Reds had the lead. And here's Tucker. Foul sounded like he broke his bat. He's taking a look at it. Apparently not. That'll get ahead at 1-2. You're looking to the Chicago ninth inning. They'll have Rizzo, followed by Zobrist, who's now at second base, and then Schwarber, the left fielder. There's a lot of movement around going on in that Chicago infield right now. Once they got the 2 strikes, they put on a shift. Guys trying to figure out where they're supposed to be. So you got Happ now over on the right side. And that's Baez they have out there in short right field. They move Murphy all the way over to the left side of the infield. It's rather bizarre. I don't know if I've ever seen that. This is the third baseman, and that will end the inning. But a game-tying home run by Eugenio Suarez. 2-2. Go to the bottom of the ninth. We call it Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Same bat time, same bat channel tomorrow. 1:30 Reds Live. Luis Castillo against the left-hander Jose Quintana. We invite you to join us. Our game coverage will get underway Eastern Time, 2 p.m. And now on to pitch for the Reds after the game-tying home run to the top of the ninth by that man. It will be this man, David Hernandez.
Well, he's got the middle of the order to deal with versus Rizzo, Zobrist, and Schwarber. So for a right-handed pitcher like Hernandez, no easy task here working through 3 left-handers that he'll see in this lineup.
We said it with Murphy, and right now in this 2-0 count, you got to be careful here. It's got to be something. If you're going to come in, you better get way in. 3-0.
Yeah, the home run that he hit last night was a pitch that was not too far off from that same spot right there. Looked like a pretty decent pitch from DeSclafani, but you know, Rizzo usually lets you know whether it's a decent pitch or not.
We don't see the Cubs enough to know if Rizzo's one of those hitters. We know Votto is that loves swinging the bat at 3-0. Some hitters like it, some don't. We know he'll be hacking if it's 3-1. If it's something he likes. There's a very good eye at the plate, this Rizzo. And that's a walk to start the inning. And that's another guy you have to keep an eye on at first base. I mean, he's not a burner, but he's a much better athlete than you think he is for as big as he is. Now, he's not stealing as many this year as he has in the past, but if you don't pay attention to him, he will take off. He has 6. Thrown out 4 times.
Well, this kind of situation is one where you would think that you're paying attention to him all the time, no matter who's over there. Question is, how does Joe Madden play this?
I was thinking that with a hitter like Zobrist, and we'll see if they change it after the first pitch. This guy just handles the bat so well. There are a lot of things you can do with Zobrist as a batter. You can start a runner.
Yeah.
This guy's a really good player. Two and 1 to count on Zobrist. He did not like that call. Boy, he's really hot. Pitch number 4 there.
Stay right down there.
Struck him out. Now Schwarber.
What a good pitch. Took a lot off this last one right there, and just that went straight down. It's the one thing I've said about Hernandez before that really makes his breaking pitches go, is that he just finishes the pitch. Right over the top of his left knee and just gets way out there with it.
First pitch, strike 1 to Schwarber. 0 for 3 in the game. Is struck out looking, grounded to second, and popped up to left. Schwarber 0 for 4 in the series opener last night. A batting average in the 230s now for Kyle Schwarber.
Boy, is that nasty.
Foul ball. Mm. 2-2 game, last of the ninth inning. Winning run at first. High fly ball into left field. And Herrera makes a play for the second out. Schwarber 0 for 8 in the first 2 games of this series. Hapo for 3 has struck out twice and fouled out to the catcher. Actually popped up in fair ground to the catcher. And Hernandez ready. And now Hernandez in front at 0-2.
Boy, he is dialing his pitches right in on that inner part of the plate. I mean, I mentioned how tough this is part of the order right here when you face all these left-handers back to back to back. The only right-hander would be the guy in the on-deck circle due up next. Hopefully he will not have to face him.
Hernandez trying to finish him off here in the ninth and send us to extra innings. One ball, 2 strikes on Ian Happ. Runner at first, 2 away. Struck him out to end the inning. So after a leadoff walk, Hernandez gets down to business. Each team 6 and 7 in extra inning games this year. We're off to the 10th. the official sponsor of Extra Innings. And that's where we're heading here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. It's a very cool afternoon, and the wind continues to blow right along, about 15, 20, maybe gusting a little bit higher than that. Temperature right around 70 degrees at game time. Mostly cloudy day, but no rain. So if it stays that way. Strode gave up a run on the home run to Suarez. He will be taken down for Jesse Chavez.
Chavez just coming over from the Texas Rangers mid-July deal there. That man had started a bunch of games last year with the Los Angeles Angels. I think he had 21 starts last year. Struggled a little bit, gave up the home run ball.
Well, I tell you what, he's got it going on, doesn't he? Shades. How about that? And he's got a wicked slider to go along with it.
Well, really, when you're facing Chavez, just about everything he throws is going to be hard. He's got a fastball, a sinker, you know, four-seamer, two-seamer, and then a cutter, and then the slider, really in that order of preference. Doesn't really dial up too much off-speed stuff.
Brandon Dixon is 0 for 3, has struck out swinging each of his 3 appearances today. Fouled out of play. Dielson Herrera will follow. And then Billy Hamilton.
It's been kind of a tough transition for Brandon Dixon up here. You know, in short flashes, he's shown himself to have great power, nice level swing, good bat speed. Made a great play defensively at first. But adjusting to how big league pitchers are beginning to pitch him, that's where the adjustment has to come. We haven't seen it yet.
All right, here's Dielson Herrera. Well, you'd love to see him get a fastball right down a can and unload, because we know this guy's got some pop. Fastball away. Walked his only plate appearance today when he came on in the 8th inning. Still 2-2 on Herrera. Right field will be out number 2. See, they moved Happ earlier in the game when he started shifting some people around. Cubs have a lot of players that can play multiple spots all over the field. We talked a little bit about that last night.
I think that's a really pretty cool trend if it is exactly that in baseball. And of course, to prepare your big leaguers to be able to do that, you start that in the minor leagues. And why not?
Got Zobrist. He started the game in right field. Now he's over at second base. Straight away center, and this will be a 1-2-3 inning. Cubs bat last of the 10th. Game. David Hernandez works a scoreless ninth. He walked a leadoff man, then retired 3 in a row with a couple of strikeouts. And now taking over on the mound will be Raisel Iglesias. Was his nickname he got with the national team, pitching in his homeland of Cuba. I like that nickname, the Cyclone. You like that?
Yeah.
My favorite all-time nickname, though, of a baseball player by far. Remember Antonio Alfonseca, who had 6 fingers on each hand? Remember that?
Yeah, sure do.
His nickname was El Pulpo. You know what El Pulpo is? The octopus. That's big league nickname.
Funny what you remember.
Yeah, not much, really. Or certainly nothing with any depth to it. No. Some of the other ones today. You got Game Ender Enciarte, string bean we talked about. Shane, not Justin Bieber. We talked about that. I like Bueller. There's a bunt. And nice pick down there at first base. Is that Casale down there?
Surprise attack there by Contreras. What a good athletic move by Bo Casale, the other end. Cass picks it. Barney fires it. There's that glove again.
You know, the word you hear so much in society now, communal. That's the communal glove.
Well, you know, like the old days, Tom, where fielders used to leave their gloves in the field.
That's right.
In case the other guys on the other team wanted to use them, or they would just leave them out behind shortstop and pick it up when they go back out there.
And this game is over. Bodie has done it again. Bodie won a game in the bottom of the ninth with a grand slam to beat the Cardinals. And the celebration is on here in Chicago for a second straight day as Bodie ends it on the long ball in the last of the 10th inning. Post game coming up next. Reds Live. Guys are standing by in Cincinnati. Cubbies win it in 10, 3-2.